computer blows up. The good news is I finally got my hard drive fixed. Yeah. The bad news is I lost all my data. So tonight we're going to talk about the importance of backing things up. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I lost everything, and apparently it's going to cost like $1,200 to get it back. So that was not good news. But what can you do? Oh, we got a full house tonight. This is very exciting. So this is hi. How are you? Good. The odd. I know we're all busy. It's a very very busy course. So we'll do a quick check-in. How is everybody doing? And you'll all say it at the same time, which will be weird, but that's okay. Oh, it's like you've practiced this. We all took our time there. That was very nice. Um, so welcome. A couple of things that I'd like to do tonight is I have an agenda. So if anybody has anything they would like to add to my agenda, I'll see if I can bring up the document for the agenda. So is somebody not using headphones? I think that's James. James is not using headphones. Okay, so can you all see the agenda? So if you look on the left-hand side, there's underneath the chat, there is a little arrow that can allow you to see multiple things. And underneath where it says Hangout, there should be a synchronous discussion agenda. Can you all see that? All right, I probably screwed something up. Let's see. Maybe I have to change the settings. Share. Change. Well, that's no good. How about now? Oh, Snapdragon. This is a little bit different than before. So what I'll do is I'll do a screen share, so then you can see what I'm referring to. Usually you should have access to it as well. So can everyone see the screen there? So I know it's a little bit. You got to look real close. So basically, I only have two things on the agenda. It's very open, but if there's anything anybody would like me to add, just let me know, and I'll do that now, and then we can make sure we talk about it. So, any questions? I think we have one of the facilitators here tonight. Yeah, do you want to answer that question? No, so the basic idea is that the facilitators determine the platform to be used for the discussion, and I'm encouraging, the wiki is there for you, but you can use any platform. But so in this case, they're using the wiki, and they've created a wiki page just for this module. So it's unique to this section. Who's playing music? Wow, that is a ringtone and a half. I thought that teaching online, I would never have to deal with a student's phone going off in class. Okay. Yeah, so basically, whatever platform the group decides they want us to contribute in terms of the discussion, that's what we use. In this case, they're using the wiki. There really shouldn't be, in terms of these facilitated discussions, any carryover from previous courses. The key thing with previous courses is you'll have access to all of their assignments, some of their discussions, their comments on videos, that kind of thing. But yeah, so that should help to clarify. Yeah, essentially. Oh, absolutely. And yeah, no, I think it's a great question. So, just for general purposes, group facilitation comments should go on whatever platform they choose for the purpose of the group facilitation. So, in this case, it'll be the wiki pages. One of the other courses I'm teaching online, they're using, and this is just to open it up to other platforms. They're using a thing called a Poplet. So this is what a Poplet is. Um, a Poplet. Let me show you what a Poplet is. So Poplet is a pretty interesting website, and basically what it does is it allows you to have a virtual bulletin board, so to speak. Okay, so I'll just show you this. Okay, so I mean this is just a website that they have. Um, I'm trying to see if we could find. They don't really have a good advertisement going on here, but essentially it's a virtual poster board, and people can add comments, people can put in photos, people can put in videos. The only challenge with it is the only people who can access it are people who have been emailed. So if you're looking to get access, if you wanted to, for example, use a Poplet, you'd have to get everybody's email and then invite everybody via email to the Poplet, and then embed the Poplet in the wiki. So there's some challenges there, but it's just an example of another platform that you could use. We don't necessarily have to stick just within the confines of the wiki, but it's open. Okay. Now this might be backtracking a little bit, but I realized that we didn't give an opportunity for everyone to introduce themselves, and I'm not sure if you all know each other's faces. So when we go left to right, if you want to introduce yourself. Okay, sure, go ahead. Okay, we can take a look at that. Next up. No, that was perfect. That was perfect. And I'm Sean Lenny. Yeah. Sorry, Mark. No, but yeah, once I get rid of the screen share, then you'll be able to see more stuff as well. So I've added the three blogs that we're writing. Any other questions for clarification that we want to look at tonight? You don't like that, then, is what you're saying? Yes, you can. How to stop it. Well, that's not it. Okay. Any other ones? Okay, so I mean, I guess the advantage they've actually Google Hangouts has been undergoing a massive change over the past 2 years that I've been using it since it's been introduced, and I know there's potential to do this where you could actually type into the document yourselves. I don't have to do it. I don't have to type into the document. But for some reason they changed it. They're adding these apps now, so I'm trying to. I'll figure that out for our next discussion. That it'll be a little bit easier. Okay, so looking at then I'll just get rid of the screen share here. So looking at the items on the agenda, the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the second online artifact, and to see if anybody had any questions about that online artifact, what you're doing, how to do it, where to post it, anything of that nature.
I see the question, but I'll wait to see if anybody has anything.
So we're all very polite web conferencing users. That's good. So anybody?
Do you want me to?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, all right. So, I've been investigating the particular technology that I would like to reference. It's called ePearl. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I am not.
Okay, I'm looking into ePortfolio, and it's a national platform, and I can't really kind of put my finger on it whether, because I can't download it, I can't get access to it. So I'm wondering if it's like some sort of server access or something. Apparently it's free, and it's a pilot program that is, and it's Canadian, believe it or not. Both set up. I've seen reference to it on Manitoban sites, Alberta sites, and New Mexico, but it's not available in Ontario. And I wanted to know, first of all, if you could give me, if you could actually explain to me what it is exactly, and secondly, if it was appropriate type of technology to discuss in this conference.
Okay, so I'll defer to
It's
the.
also a piece of hardware. It's an actual, you know, it's an actual research capability.
Okay, so I'll put it to the group first because often there's individuals who have used very varied software. Has anybody in the group used ePearl? No? Okay, so I'm looking at the website right now if you want to go to it. It's from Concordia University, it looks like.
Yeah.
So, and there's Tammy Green. Um, Hi, Tammy.
Hello.
So, in terms of your second question, also I'll start with the second question: is this an appropriate technology to use? And the answer would be absolutely. So, I mentioned last week to Tammy and Deanna, this course is all about your professional practice. What are you interested in? What do you want to try out? So, if ePortfolio software is something that you're interested in, then and this would support you, then absolutely try it. In terms of actually being able to use the ePearl software, what the only recommendation, because I'm not familiar with it, is would
Yeah.
be to send them an email and say, I'm an educator, I'm working in this environment, I'd like to use your software. Can you give me a step by step?
Yeah.
That would be the best approach. Really, and as I said, because I'm not familiar with this software, which is part of the good thing about this course, is you start to learn about other things.
Well, it's unlike other portfolio softwares like like online tools like LeanTable, where you can immediately kind of go to set up an account, or like some paid software where you actually have to fill in information and pay. This doesn't seem to have any directly link to a download, unless you actually are going through some sort of server access. And then I can kind of help.
Yeah, and as I said, what this looks like is a research project at Concordia where they may be using a platform that they built for the purpose of doing research.
Yeah, yeah,
So so yeah, that's what I would recommend is give them send them an email. In their contact page, they have an email and a telephone number. So I would contact them to see if it's downloadable, and if it's not, there are other e-portfolio platforms that you could use. So yeah, okay, good. So in terms of Artifact 2, is everybody comfortable with what the artifact is and the purpose of it?
Yeah, I just have a question because I had chosen mine and then I wrote up the two details for it, like Harvard learning history concept. And then I saw somewhere on one of the other previous groups, I think it was, that it said a short description. And so I kind of condensed it because I don't. It didn't say short in the actual assignment, but then I saw somewhere else it said short, so I kind of just cropped it a bit and posted a little kind of basically what it is so far. But I wasn't sure if I should be adding more or if I did too much already or what.
Yes. So the basic response is that the purpose of the second online artifact is to showcase a technology that you're interested in being used in practice, right? And the reason that I'm asking you to post it on the wiki is partially because one of the ideas I had for this wiki space was that it would grow as a resource library for educators. So in terms of it being a short description, I mean, if you look at some of the archives, some of them are short, really short. Like this is a video of smartboards, and some of them are, yeah, and some of them are really long. And so in terms of how long should it be, my only suggestion is think about yourself as a teacher. You go to a website, you're looking for a resource. How much information do you need in order to get curious about that resource to go and investigate it further? So it's kind of like that's what the word short. Yeah, so it's kind of like a trailer to a movie. Some trailers are 30 seconds, some trailers are, a minute and a half, but it's kind of like how can we get a good sense of what the technology is, be curious about it, and are there resources there so that if you really wanted to find more about it, that I could just click on a link and be able to go to it. Yeah.
Sean, that goes right into a question I have about the assignment. I was wondering for the technology, if I could use, I'm going to do VoiceThread for my software evaluation. Can I use VoiceThread for this video captioning classroom stuff?
Absolutely, and that's part of my goal is to not have people do work for work's sake. So the idea is you kind of have on the side, you're doing this research project, so to speak, where you've picked a technology, you want to do some research about how it's been used, and then you're going to try it out, and then you're going to write a reflection, so to speak, on your experience. So absolutely, if you've picked a technology for your software evaluation project, you can use that technology for your online artifact.
Perfect. That helps a lot. Thanks.
I have a question. Sammy.
Who's got a dog? Who's got a dog? Nobody's stoning up to the dog.
The item that I chose was more of a hardware than a software for the second artifact. So can I use that for my final project too, or does it actually have to be a piece of software?
What's the hardware that you like to use?
Pardon?
What's the hardware?
Anyways, the document.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, you can use it. Um,
Would you
really,
prefer if I used an actual software
no, no,
that?
not at all. I mean, I know the name of the assignment somewhat leading, but again, the idea is there a technology that is useful to you in your practice? Have some fun with it, apply it, and let's do a little bit of a reflection on how it was applied and how you felt the experience was. So, really, whether it's a hardware uh, technology or whether it's a software technology, I have no preference. It's really, and this is one thing that you'll find. I mean, I know the course is about halfway through, we're done already, but I'm really open and really flexible. It's all about your interests. What do you want to do? What do you want to research? What do you want to try out? And then just roll with that. As long as it's some technology, like, and that's beyond, like somebody could say that a pencil is a technology. So I'll say maybe try something new, something you haven't used before. But yeah, so document camera for sure, smart boards are for sure. ePortfolio is great. People have used Vokies in the past, so lots of different stuff that you can try. Okay. Any other questions regarding the second artifact? No? Okay.
But I've got a question about something else.
Oh, geez. No, I'm kidding.
Logan.
What's your question?
It's kind of twofold, John. I was doing the software evaluation project, and I got my name was on the list, but I can't make it a link. And even when Deanna and I were on a hangout last night, we couldn't figure out how to get me to actually have it linked.
So,
And
do you mean linking your page to another page in the wiki?
yeah,
Yeah?
so
Okay.
the name's underneath the software evaluation as if I've started a page, and I have in fact started a page. But it's not highlighted like that underlying bold so that everyone can just click on it and go right to the page.
Okay. So, do you want to walk me through what you tried? So this is kind of like a troubleshooting on how to do a link to a page kind of thing. So what'd you try so far? Yeah, like what'd you do so far to create the link? And you could share your screen too if you want to take us through it.
Load up. But what I did,
What's uh-oh?
She closed herself.
Oh, what she did was close her window. She'll be back. They always come back. Is everyone else comfortable with the it looks like, yeah, so we have Wykins is there, Montgomery's there, Deanna's there, Tammy's there. Okay. So I'm looking at the wiki page right now with the software evaluations in it.
hi,
Hi.
here's some advice. Always open a new window.
Yes, open new window. Very good.
Sorry.
No worries. So do you want to share your screen with us and then walk us through it?
Yep, give me a moment to find it, and then I will share it. And with my luck, of course, it'll work this time.
Most likely. Because I can
Back up and say it worked. No.
Thank you.
I don't believe you. No, I can see your page in the navigator. So it says Tammy Software Evaluation. So
But it's not highlighted, right?
no, no, but I mean I could show you how the link, how you can click the link to it, or somebody else can.
And I have to go through a really convoluted way of getting to it too.
I know it's a little bit deep.
So hold on, the screen share. Okay, can you see my screen?
I can't.
No.
Oh, come on, guys, don't be fair.
No.
I can see it.
Let me try again.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Oh.
wow. Yep. Really?
Oh, now we can. Okay.
Okay, is it there or no?
Yeah, it's there now.
Okay, so this is the page I actually created. But somehow, if I go back to, oh my goodness. So for me just to get into it, I have to go through a million channels, as you can see. Maybe this is how everyone else does it too. Ah, there. So here's the page, and I'm not highlighted, and there's no line underneath. So what I did, I went to edit, I went into insert a new page. Is that right?
You don't have to.
No, you can.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Wykin.
You don't have to. You can just highlight your name or wherever you want the link to be, and then click on the link button, which is so it's called.
The add link button.
That must be it.
That's
And then click save.
Okay, now my next question, I have to save it down here, okay. Now my next question pertaining to this, is it possible to create a page that nobody can see yet until I finish building it and then share it?
Yes. If it's a page that you don't link to anywhere else, then nobody will be able to have access to it. I mean, if somebody really wanted to, they could go into the file structure, go through all of the pages, and then see it. But if you don't link it to another page, there's no way to really get to it except for going into the file structure. Do you want to just
If I just
test that to
create
make sure it
one
works?
page and do nothing else, then I'm good?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe just test the link that you just made, just to make sure it works.
You guys are awesome.
Way to go, Wycan.
Thank you.
Okay, and then you can turn off your screen share. Cool. Okay. So, does anybody else have any other questions regarding the online artifact before we move on to the online facilitations? No? Okay. So, does anybody have any questions about the online facilitations? We talked about them a little bit already. I really just tried to do this as question and answer, just because I want to base it on what you're curious about, as opposed to having me dictate things. But so I mean, I wanted to thank the first group. Is anybody here from the first group?
Just me.
Just you, yes. Thank you for facilitating last week.
No problem.
You did a really good job.
It wouldn't have worked if you guys didn't contribute, so thanks to you all.
How did you find the experience? We're interviewing you now.
I'm looking forward to this week.
How did you find the experience?
It was interesting because you almost trying to find a way to do that discussion. And granted that not everyone would come up on a delay and stuff that live. It was interesting. It's great when someone started a thread and that kind of just roll.
And have you guys decided what you're going to use for your artifact?
That was the other thing I want to talk to you about was I think Cheryl doing another facilitation on proposing heard nothing about that.
I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything regarding that.
So I basically I did the facilitation.
Did she know that she was in your group?
She signed out, so I don't know.
Okay, so that's good to know. Maybe I'll send her an email just to make sure, because sometimes with the group signups and all that kind of stuff, we get a bit lost. But you worked by yourself, then that's even better. So have you thought?
I didn't want to mess up.
No, it's okay.
John, I have a question about your question you just asked.
Yep.
When you said, what are you going to use for your artifact? Like, what becomes of artifact out of the conversation?
Okay. That is a good question. So basically, what I'm asking you to do is it's a two-step process. The first step, as Wyken did for us this past week and did a really good job, was to facilitate a discussion about the content relating to that module. So Wyken used the wiki page. He created a wiki page for each of the 4 questions, and then had people contributing to the discussion. Now, one thing that I'm aware of is that when you get into environments like this, a lot of content can be generated. Sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming. If you're somebody who, as Wyken mentioned, doesn't get to log on every week or every day kind of thing, how do you get a summary of the discussion? So this is where the artifact comes in. So what the artifact essentially is the facilitators taking the discussion, which is generally free-flowing, and trying to come up with an artifact that represents and summarizes the discussion. Okay, and so again, the purpose of the online artifact. Yep.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm hearing about every fifth word that you're saying.
Me too.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. That's how I talk.
You sound a bit like
Okay.
The normal way.
Okay. I live in the country. I have really bad internet, so I apologize. And it's like, why are you teaching an online course? Um, okay, so I'll try.
Gonna say anything.
I'll try again. I'll speak a little slower. Is that okay?
Yeah, you're okay now.
Okay. So if I get like stuttery, just say put your hand up and be like, stop. You're stuttery. Okay. So two-part process. First part, facilitate the discussion. Second part, once the discussion is completed, provide the group with an artifact that summarizes the discussion. So these discussions are probably going to end up, as you could see last week, Wyken, there's a lot. So once people start contributing, it builds and it builds and it builds. And so the idea would be with the artifact, you're creating something using any software you want that kind of summarizes the discussion. And then you can embed that artifact in the online artifacts page so that by the end of the course, we'll have 4 artifacts that represent the 4 different discussions.
So Tammy, that kind of answers our question that we had last night, where it's, do we have to do them independently, or is it a team thing?
Yeah, so everything relating to the facilitation of the discussions is a team thing. And
Question 2 off.
yeah. And with the artifacts again, I'm encouraging you to just practice play, have some fun. One thing that one group did in one of my other courses is they did an extra normal animation. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with that. Has anybody worked with extra normal? Yeah. So what they did was they created an extra normal animation, and it was like 4 people talking, and they took each person's main points and then had that person kind of speak their points, and then they made a video and then they posted that. It's in a different course, different environment, but so that's an example of something you could do. Sound good? Okay. Now, one other question that goes along with that is, well, when is that due? And if you look at the course calendar, it's supposed to be due at the end of the discussion week, so like the Sunday. So the discussion would go up to the Friday, and then you would get a couple days to kind of post the artifact. How do you feel yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you just answered my second question. How do you feel about that? Would you like more time?
I had no idea that was due in because when I looked at it, I thought there was an artifact detailed
Yeah, no time to develop skills, I'm sorry.
There's a comment.
So as I mentioned last week, I'm actually really flexible. So how do you feel? I mean, the only challenge for me is thinking about if the artifact is related to you facilitating the discussion. If you post it at the end of the course, then we really don't get any benefit from the artifact. So would it be fair to have the artifact due the week after you facilitate?
That's better than 2 days.
Yes, I concur. I concur. Okay, so essentially, what will happen is the only group that poses a challenge for is the last group, because they'll be going in the last week. So I'm not sure who the last group is. Is there anybody here that's in the last group that's facilitating?
What is the number of the last one?
Let me just check the groups.
Module 7, fourth group.
Yeah, I'm in module 6, but I think there was one person signed up.
Maybe it's. Yeah. So we have. There's 2 people so it's Pat and Agnes. So we should be. I'll speak with them and then talk to them about working on giving them the same opportunity to submit the artifact a little bit later. My only challenge is as obvious, like with grades, I can't be getting things in like August. Hi. I was stuttering again, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put that in the notes for tonight. Revision to due date for online artifact. So I've put that in the notes for tonight. Is it good?
Actually, one of the benefits for the last group is they had all this time ahead of time to get used to some kind of software or how they wanted to present it, and get the chance to look at everybody else's to see how it works. That was nice feedback.
For sure. And I'll let them know that when I say you have 2 days to make your artifact.
Mention my name.
So Tammy says you got plenty of. They will. They'll know who you are. Um, I could take that part out. I'll just put a blob over your face while you're saying that. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so that's good. So why can you're comfortable with, the idea of the artifact? Because you're kind of our first person up. So
No problem. I'll work on it this week. Another 2 3 days.
okay, cool. And again, the purpose I've tried to design the assignments so that really what we're doing is playing with technologies that you think could be valuable to you at some point in your teaching practice. So the only reason I'm asking you to do online artifacts is so that you can pick a software that you think might be valuable. So I would strongly encourage you for any of the artifacts not to pick a technology that you don't think you'd ever use again. Don't just use it for the sake of this course. Pick something that you actually are interested in using in your practice, and it's kind of giving you an opportunity to play with it, get comfortable with it, use it for a purpose, get some grades out of it, and then it has purpose. Yeah. I don't think, especially everyone is, I'm sure, really busy with, lives and little babies, well, I was saying babies, but I don't have report cards. So we don't need to make work just for work's sake. Okay. Somebody had asked if we could talk about Module 4 discussion questions.
Yeah, I had brought that up, and I think I kind of, in midst of putting it on the agenda, I also asked a question.
Okay.
So I think it is kind of clear to me now that posting to multiple questions are actually now
Okay. Good. Glad that that is cleared up. And the other thing to mention is that this course, like any online course or any experience, is will bounce around a bit. So feel free to be confused. And if you get confused, just ask. It happens. Um,
Very normal state of mind.
it's like, what? What am I doing? Okay, the next one was clarification on the 3 blogs that we're writing. I think that was Wykin's question, right?
Yeah, so I understand we have to create a blog, which I've done, but we need to submit 3 specific blogs that present, I guess, the complete blog. So, but the blog that I've created, since this course is length, it doesn't include all of the other things that I told you. So, my question is, when I submit the URL for my blog, for blog number 1, do you want the URL for the home page, in which case you'll have to navigate through to find which blog I'm talking about, or can you do a URL for the specific blog that I'm doing?
Okay, so that's a great question. What I'm going to ask you to do is to submit the URL to your homepage, and in the submission box, identify the entries that you'd like me to pay specific attention to for the purpose of the assignment.
So you don't need this for due date, you can do it in course.
Yeah, so the blog assignment is essentially a reflective practice activity. So I structured the first one just to provide some structure, but really the other 2 entries are open. And so my focus is not, are you writing about educational technology? Because that's all you should be writing about, right? My focus is, are you writing? You know, are you writing in an online platform that's published in a public space so that other people can see it? Are you engaging in the educational community with your dialogue? So even if your entries are not about ed tech, that doesn't matter to me. You're using ed tech to communicate. So in yeah, really, that's how I'm marking you. If you don't have 10 million followers, you're not going to get an A. I'm sorry.
we'll all connect with each other
Yeah.
and semi-users.
Yeah. Just just be like Kim Kardashian and, wear some scantily clothing and then put a picture up and then be like, "Follow me." No. No, not at all. So yeah, so does that answer your question? Yeah, and I think that's a good question because a few people have emailed me on that. So I think it would be good to be more clear about that. So just the one URL, you submit to the blog portfolio assignment, and then I mark it as sort of a overall picture.
So the due dates, I think those are the suggested due dates for publishing.
Yeah, and it's just to give you a sense. This course is 7 weeks in the spring. In the summer when I teach it, it's actually 6 weeks. So everything gets condensed. So it's really just to give people some, sense of when can you be doing things. Because I guess as I said earlier, what I really want to avoid is somebody just thinking that these are assignments that I have to do for this course. I'm taking this course and I got to do these stupid assignments, right? No, I want you to actually do it because you want to do it, right? And so I give those suggested dates just kind of, if you were blogging, and I do sincerely hope that you continue to blog beyond the course because it's a great way to get yourself out into the community, you would want to blog, once every couple of weeks or once a month at the very least, just to get your voice continuously out there. And interestingly enough, the way that Google does its searching of metadata, one of the first key things in the algorithm is relevance. So when was the most recent published data, right? So if you write a blog and then you don't write in the blog for 6 months, you're not going to show up on Google because Google's going every 30 days to saying, okay, what's new, what's new, what's new? Nothing? We'll just put that aside. We'll put what's new up at the top. So it's important to stay writing. Yeah, even if it's something like, watch this video, awesome, check it out, and then embed the video, So, so the last question that came up was email notifications. Who asked that question? There she is. How are you feeling? You're all by yourself. No, it's okay. I just you've been so quiet. I just wonder if it's because we can't see you. So.
It's probably because I can't do my stuff, maybe, like I'm still a bit invisible.
Well, I don't want
I just thought you were sitting very still.
to outside in a summer dress of some kind. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna do a screen share and I'll show you all this for the sake of showing this to you. Hello. That's okay. What kind of dogs do you have?
They're poodle mixes,
Wow, poodle Burmese mountain dog. What's like a boodle? A Burma doodle? That's fascinating. Okay, it's a dog group. We got lots of dogs. Okay, so can you all see my screen?
No.
No? How about now? Now you can? Okay. Okay, so let's see. So I'm gonna explore here for a little bit because it's actually been a while since I've done this. So if we go into the users, no, I'm going to Sean.
What's it you doing for us, Sean?
So I'm showing you how to turn off notifications. Yeah. So what you would do is, once you're in the wiki, top right hand corner, you have your name. You click on your name. This is all the user data for you. And then you have your preferences. Now, one of the challenges with PBWorks is it's a little bit limited in terms of preferences. What you can do is you can actually star items. So you can highlight different discussions or things that you want to subscribe to, so to speak. And so you'll see that I have that as my second one, right? So what what was mentioned is you really don't want is this bottom one here. Can you see where it says send notifications of all changes on this workspace? Yeah, you don't want that because that will literally send you a message every single time somebody does anything. Which is great, but at the same time, do we need to know that you deleted a letter from your page because you forgot how to spell the word procrastinate? I don't know. And then the top one, so there's really 3 levels. The top one is don't send any notifications. This means you won't get any, which may be desirable. The second one is only for starred items, and then you determine which ones you star. And then the third one is send notifications of all changes, which means you'll be getting everything. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you send notifications for starred items and you leave the also notify me of newly added items, that means if somebody creates a page, if you leave that checkbox blank, then you won't be notified, which could also be desirable depending on how many notifications you're getting. Okay? Okay. Go back to my window here. Okay. So we have effectively covered each of the questions that were in the Google document. Since we've been talking, does anybody else have any other questions, concerns, comments? No? Okay. So the one question that I'd like to ask, just because it actually generated a fair amount of discussion, is around the teachers who should be replaced by technology. So I really appreciated that a lot of people commented on sort of the human nature of what teachers can do and that sort of thing. So that was very lovely. But I think my interpretation of that quote is if you have a teacher that's really bad and they could be replaced by a computer, should they be? So I'm wondering, why can't I know you facilitated the discussion for the week? Do you want to give us your sense? Or your dogs can chime in, either one.
It really depends what you define as a bad teacher. Because what might be a bad teacher for someone intelligent is a bad teacher for a student. So, I think that's very subjective. So if you're saying that a bad teacher is someone who teaches at the blackboard and the student grows, someone else might interpret that as okay, and not so. I think a bad teacher, in my book, should be someone who's totally disengaged from the students across the board without putting in input from the kids. In those cases, one ought to have a computer because the computer does almost the same thing. It can't interpret human emotion. It cannot interpret responsibility. It can't really decide the student is great now or this learning is not going where we want it, let's change direction. I think those things computers cannot do. So even a bad teacher can possibly decide it's not the ideal learning to change courses.
So perhaps changing the word bad to disengaged or apathetic.
I like apathetic.
Yeah. And you could also come up with changes like the program or the software that's supposed to help students learn is disengaging. And you do see that. I mean, I remember multimedia courses that were so dry. I actually prayed that it would be better.
Were you taking those at UOIT? I'm just checking.
That's from our last AT course that we don't mind.
There was no interaction at all?
Well, the interaction was forced. I mean, you could see that people responding because they needed to kind of do the requirements of the course. But if you get people doing a teacher's monologue, right? You have to kind of filter yourself because this is all way too much information. It wasn't necessarily meaningful or on topic to what was
And I'm glad you mentioned a few things that you mentioned are going to come up in the topics for the next module, which one of them is autonomy. So one of Downes's concepts is in any learning environment, the learner has to have some autonomy. But if you don't, if you feel this directive, or you're being told what to do and how to do it, and it's automated, what you lose is the motivation to actually participate. So I think that's a good point for sure.
And I think folks actually also enjoy having their experience done. I mean, there's a lot of kids in my learning care group are very interpersonal, and they're kinetic learners as well too. So they don't like sitting in the seats for any length of time, something like that. And they're always vying for your attention. So I'm not sure the computer would give them as much you know.
Unless they were using an Xbox Connect,
Well, there you go.
where you could like do stuff and move around. We could have a video dance party.
I was thinking that, much as I think there are some teachers that could and should be replaced by computers, I was kind of thinking that a good combination of both would be appropriate, especially at the high school level, where you can have the face-to-face teachers for subjects. I think math is a very hands-on, and sometimes you need to understand these concepts and have somebody show you different ways to approach them and use strategies. But then something like it shows what my passion about history is something I think we could do online and using a computer to learn about it, because I think it would be more engaging, because you would probably tend to go towards the parts of history that really do use history, and you're going to understand and learn them more than just sitting and listening to like,
Well, if you have teachers that talk like that, they probably need some other help. Cause but no, the other thing you just brought up is interest based. So how do you, in a self-directed environment, interest-based curriculum is usually supported because it's based on what the person really wants to do, what they're interested in. So history might be a topic that lends itself to that. I find it interesting when people start talking about curriculum being more suitable for particular environments, because people often have different. Because I know some people. There was somebody in the last iteration of this course that said the exact opposite to what you just said. They say history, gotta have a teacher. They gotta make it, great. So
I think that speaks to what your passion is and what your interests are. And I think that my son, the first time ever, is taking an online course as part of his high school studies. And he's loving it. He's loving the autonomy, the deadlines are not flexible, but it's just the whole way of structure. He's thinking that it's a great way to go, that he likes it so much he's going to take a summer online course. It's like a summer school. Well, that may be a bit much. So I'm all for it, but it just seems to appeal to some of the kids. And again, they need to choose what their interests are. Like he, I apologize to anybody out there. He's going to take English because he finds that is his hardest course. So he figures if he does it online, he will be able to condense it into a shorter period of time. Doesn't think he'll have to read as many books in 4 weeks as he would in 4 months. And that's kind of his logic. So we'll see how it goes.
I think it would be interesting to ask students the same question about teachers being replaced by computers, and to see.
I don't want to ask them.
You could do that as a software evaluation project. Say, if I could be replaced by a computer, should I be? And then see what the students say.
I teach science and it's all hands-on. There's no way I could replace that computer.
What if it was Bill Nye doing podcasts?
Actually, I probably could be replaced because today we were doing a demonstration with the Aegon osmosis and it didn't work and I had to show them the video of what was supposed to happen.
It's always good to have a backup. This is what this was supposed to look like. It's like on cooking shows, how they always like, oh, I pre-made this, and it's like, what? How did this? It's supposed to be live entertainment, but no, I think I wanted to bring it up as a question because I think the passion and the diversity of responses that you've kind of demonstrated also came up in the discussion. So it'll be interesting to see how YKN captures that in an artifact. And we'll see.
One part that did come up that I wanted to mention regarding replacing teachers with computers is all of the
IT.
Yeah.
Gotta move the
Put it on back order.
Our server went down today during PIO.
Oh wow. Well, that's the thing that I always, because I mean, one thing for myself is I'm not a technologist. Like I don't think technology is the answer to everything. And I always remind people who are really heavily dependent on technology, it's like, what happens if the power goes out and it doesn't come back? Like, could you actually still teach if you didn't have technology? And it's really interesting to see the vulnerability that comes over people's faces, when they realize, oh my God, what happens if your hard drive crashes and you lose all your data? So that could be,
Pay $1,200.
yeah, you pay some IT $1,200 to get it back. Um, So I am conscious of time. I do know that you guys have done a lot of work this week, so I don't want to keep you too long. It's 9:30. So just a couple of highlights for the next module. So we are going to be looking at. I know a couple of you have already watched the Ken Robinson video. Really, what this module is about is thinking about how technology could reconceptualize learning. Building from Shigato Mitra's video, where it's self-directed, and moving into Ken Robinson, thinking about creativity as an important literacy for children and for all people living in the 21st century. And so, how can technology and education kind of transform how we understand the learning process? And the connectivism article, it is a long article. It is fairly theoretical. Connectivism is a theory that's been put forward by George Seaman and Stephen Downes to try and conceptualize what are the important elements of a technology-enhanced educational experience. So that's kind of what we're looking at for the next module, and then that will build into what does this look like in a practical context. So I'm looking.
Good videos that break it into the different steps. Neither of us really understand what it's talking about.
Yeah, and I wanted to say one thing that's been great so far about this group that actually hasn't happened yet, and I'm loving the fact that it's happening, is people adding content. You watch the video and it's like, oh, this is a good video that builds on that. And that hasn't happened so far when I've been teaching this course. So I'm really enjoying when you do that. So please keep doing that. If you see images or all those images that Wykin put in those pictures, I was like, whoa, that's cool. The only question is, did you get copyright licensing for those images? That's the only question I have, right? I know, I'm just kidding. I just did a workshop today on copyright, so yeah.
John, I did have a question regarding the video because I've seen the video when you talked about creativity, and the video link that is there is lots of steps in the video.
Yeah, so there's two that he has. The one that he did in
Let's talk about the video about creativity. The link actually talks about creativity.
yeah, so the first video that he did in 2008 was called Schools Kill Creativity, and it was looking at how the institution of education really takes creativity out of children, and they don't want to take risks and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's the first one that he did in 2008. But the one that is on our wiki is actually the most recent one that he did, and it's called The Learning Revolution. Bring on the Learning Revolution, and
talks about traditional models of moving away from the classroom. That tends to be creativity. So I think it's that question
so I think both your points are really, really, really good. The idea is with his talks, one is actually a continuation of another. That's how he starts the second one, where he's like, well, as I was saying in 2008, and then this one's in like 2010. So it's kind of funny. So really, the theme around creativity is persistent in both videos. If you think it would be helpful, I mean, I'd be more than happy to embed the first video in the page, or one of you could do it as well. If you think that it would be good to have that sort of backgrounder leading into the video, I just didn't want to make you watch too much stuff, so I tried to put the most recent stuff there. So do you want to do that?
I was just a little confused because I thought, oh, well, you put the wrong video up there. This is the first video, and this is all about take pictures.
Yeah.
Right?
So do you want to put the other one up there for me? Yeah, great. So we'll have both the videos, and I mean together they're about 34 minutes long. I think they're 17 minutes each. So, but again, as somebody's already made comments, he's great. Like his style of speech. The other thing about the first video that I found, and some other people have commented on, is there's not a lot of substance in the first video. It's a lot of jokes and a lot of, but I love it. So it's, you know, both videos are good. Okay, good. Any other questions, comments, concerns before we wrap up for the night?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so I do want to say thank you for joining us, and I really appreciate it. It's nice to have a little bit of a bigger group. I think this was a nice size. We haven't had our full 10 in here yet, but that's okay. And we'll do another one next Monday. What it usually happens is, as I do more of them later on in the course, there's less people, but this course might be the anomaly where we get more people. So I've captured all of this on video. We can wave to the video people that didn't show up. Hi. We had such a good time. Yes, there's a big blob over your head. Don't worry. So this will be accessible for you as well if you do want to check it out later in terms of the screencasts and that kind of stuff. Okay? No problem. Have a good night, everybody. You too. Bye-bye.